Right, we've covered Manchester United tactics on this channel a lot. And I've got another one. It's been in my head a while, and I finally decided to do it. I think the performances of Bruno over the course of the season have not been great. And I think it's a mixture of, obviously, the quality and the performances that him and the team are putting out, but also of where he's playing at the moment. Out of possession, Manchester United are often pressing in a 4-4-2, and he's starting really high. He's acting as one of the strikers in that compact 4-4-2. And I feel like we're not getting the ball. Obviously, Man United have had defensive problems, but we know Man United in particular have had problems in the attacking third. I think there's only Southampton that scored less goals than Man United so far in the Premier League. So we can't build up out from the back. We're not creating many chances. So what about bringing Bruno a little bit deeper? He did it against Liverpool, which I know that game in the FA Cup was a little bit of a crazy result, and later on he got injured and sat back. But I do think Bruno's, number one, his range of passing, the ability to win free kicks in deeper areas would be good, comfortable in possession, and loves those kind of counter-attacking defence-splitting passes to maybe an on-rushing Garnacho and Rashford. Also maybe finding the feet of maybe a Xerxes in here like we've been doing so far. We've also, you know, in bigger games, you could also argue that Mason Mount can go in there as well. Also, I think the form of Kobe Manu is a little bit of an issue. He's struggled since the start of the season. I think too much has been put on him in terms of what he can deliver on a regular basis and what he's good at. We know he's good in tight areas. We know he can travel, but he hasn't really got that progressive pass, that finding that really good pass into the wide players on a regular basis. Now, that may come, and this is by no means a dig at Kobe Manu. He should be on the bench in a team like Manchester United at his age, not an over-reliance on him. So I just thought, how can we get Bruno on the ball more? Yes, we know his defending numbers will not be great. However, he's probably better at covering the ground than maybe an Eriksen who's been playing in there. So alongside an Ugarte who eventually will settle in and get a bit more match speed, how could Manchester United potentially line up? Now, this tactic is available for you Patreons. Link down in the description if you want to look at that. We're going to go through it quickly. We're going to go through some of the things that I really want Bruno to do, and then we're going to see how the form has done. As you can see, end of September, we are top of the Premier League. We've got some highlight clips to show you as well, all right? But I'd appreciate if you check out the Patreon link down in the description. And if you're getting FM25, you know you're getting it. There is a link down in the description as well to a discount code through to game. Cheaper than Steam, also cheaper than everyone else's Fanatical as well. It's only by a penny, but as well, I get a little bit of a kickback myself, so you'd really be supporting me as a creator through FM25 if you use the link down in the description. So thanks for that. Right, the tactic. We'll go through it, show you it, so then you can copy it and you save yourself. So patrons, you now have his direct download because it has worked wonderfully well. So, Anana, sweeper keeper on attack, no play instructions. We've gone with Dalot on the right-hand side because we're playing with two sort of like sitters, two sixes. I really do want Dalot not just inverting. I was thinking about having him inverted like he is at the moment, but because we're playing two kind of sitters there, yes, the Regista will wander, but he's not exactly, get back there. He's not exactly going to be up there high in build-up. So the idea is that they stay wide and we kind of build with a 2-4, two centre-backs, and then Luke Shaw playing on wing-back on support on that side. And I've just allowed Dalot just to be a little bit more free. He is good when he drove into these areas on the right-hand side. He struggled this season on the left. So it'd be good, hopefully, if Luke Shaw ever does get fit, we just play with two bog-standard fullbacks, give us a little bit of width. So Dalot is a complete wing-back on support. Shaw wing-back on support on the left, just to give us that natural balance on both sides, give us nice, wide options. Ugarte is going to sit deep. You'd imagine the Regista will come in deep at times as well in possession. So the idea is Luke Shaw would be wing-back on support. Ugarte, ball-winning midfielder on defend, with Bruno, the Regista, potentially as well, dribble less because he's not a great dribbler, not a great carrier. So maybe we could do that. Take more risks, roam from position, absolutely. And then into the forward areas, we've gone winger on attack for Garnacho. Inside forward on left for Rashford because we want him cutting in there. Mason Mount, I've gone with a shadow striker, which you maybe don't think suits that. But it is so then we can press in that 4-4-2 compact block that Ten Hag likes. Shadow striker will naturally go a little bit higher. It is also really good in the game. And then it also gives us the option in some games as well to go with a Joshua Xerxes, who is definitely better as more of a 10 than a 9. And then up front, Højlund, DLF on support, on attack, sorry. We do want him leading the line, but at times we do want him dropping in and helping out, especially when we're trying to counter-attack and get those two wide players in behind the opposition's defence. Right, positive mentality, passing to space. We want that Garnacho. We want even Højlund. We want Rashford. Also, I'm finding that getting the ball into maybe Bruno, passes into space, being a little bit more direct might help. I think it will help, give us an option. Better quality of passes from Bruno in here. Slightly shorter passing just so we can keep a little bit more control of the game. I didn't want to go direct. I think we'll naturally go direct with Bruno anyway, but generally in possession, can we be slightly shorter, higher tempo, that is it. In transition, counter-press and counter, because that's what we're going to do. Manchester United, expected to do that. Distribute to playmaker. Can we get the ball into Bruno early as possible, take short kicks? Obviously, then, if we're playing out from defence as well, De Ligt and Martinez are very good. By the way, I completely forgot to mention the two centre-halves. Both having a bit of a torrid time. I have got dribble more on Martinez and dribble more on De Ligt, because I do love it when they carry them balls in kind of like those wide centre-back positions. So that as a double as well. Out of possession, much higher line, high press, getting stuck in, step up more, trap outside, being extremely aggressive. We're absolutely caught between two systems at the moment and leaving that big gap in the middle. The thing would be Fernandes having to cover this big space. He wouldn't be expected to, but with this, we're going to play really short, and the space is then left in behind, where Dalot, Shaw, Martinez, De Ligt, all decent in terms of speed. Onana, we know, is going to have a crazy high line anyway, so we could sweep up in behind. I'm still finding it strange that he's still obsessed with having that huge gap, Erik ten Hag, in here. Bearing in mind now we've got the physical profiles and the physicals and the speed in the back line to get away with playing a much higher line. It's a strange one, that. Any thoughts why he's still doing that? Let me know down in the comments. Right. Let's talk Bruno. Right, so as you said, the problem we kind of got is we haven't got someone who can really play out from the back in terms of Martinez, De Ligt all been okay. At the same time as well, Menu is a tremendous ball carrier, really good in tight spaces. Come under a little bit of dip in form in the last since the start of the season, really, after his decent Euros. I also do think Fernandes higher. A lot of the games where we're under the cosh, he just doesn't get into the game. And I don't think that's a him thing. I think it's sort of like a game state. He's asked to play as this second man out of possession, up as a striker, and then playing quite high. And he's often the link player. And I'd really like him to drop deep and be a link. And because there's Miss and Mount as well, tremendous in and out of possession, allowing Menu to have a little bit of time out, I think just gives us a little bit of a better balance. And then what you would get is the two fullbacks going a little bit higher, being a little bit of aggressive in here with the two centre-halves and building out like that and allowing sometimes Fernandes to come in here. And then even if they press high, it then allows us to maybe hit a Mount, Rashford and Garnacho if Onana goes a little bit longer. Let's get a ball on the pitch. So we've got those little options there. I think having a little bit more width as well from fullbacks just allows Onana to beat what might be a tight, compact press. So he's got options there. We can play out from the back if a team sits off. Bruno as a Regista then could probably come in at times and play like that. And then when he does get on the ball, he's going to have the quality to do that, to slip passes in, to play maybe little combinations with Mount and Højlund. I think it kind of suits. He's obviously as well getting to that age. What is he, 30? He's getting to that age where his physical output's going to drop. I don't think his best work, if we flip it around and we're attacking this area. Now, you could argue and say that his best work isn't done in these tight little areas in here. Would he be better playing in a deeper position? So when we get into these good areas, in these wider areas, and we've got fullback supporting, that when the ball does come out in these areas, wouldn't he be better coming a little bit deeper and coming from here? So I think maybe get a shot off and goal, recycling possession, maybe those deeper crosses into the box as well. I do think he's better when he's building from a little bit deeper. And when we're in the attacking third, we can sometimes have a Garte and then maybe a Menu dropping back. And then if Fernandes is doing that as well, it probably we probably then lose a player in and around the box. And if we go with a Joshua Zirkzee in certain games as well, playing in behind a Højlund, maybe teams that were expected to park the bus, you would potentially get an extra box threat if balls were coming in from Bruno, who's maybe drifting into these sort of like half spaces and crossing from deep a little bit more. Maybe a Rashford coming into the back post, maybe a Garnacho coming into the back post, depending on which side Fernandes is at. So that's my thought with it. Really interested to hear your thoughts down in the comments, so please let me know. And the season itself has started particularly well. We've played 6, won 5, drawn 1, lost none, scored 17 and let in 6. Bruno himself, where is he? Bruno doesn't like to be a Regista, but everything about him says he could probably do it in terms of his vision. Can we highlight it? Let's highlight it in here in his training. Apart from his dribbling, which you sometimes get from a Regista, but you can take that off, so it's not hard-coded. First touch, long shots, passing technique, vision, teamwork, off-the-ball flair, decision, composure, anticipation, and not needing much physically, kind of suits him. Bearing in mind that he's at the age of, what now, 30, could a deeper role at Manchester United help? The FM24 says yes, he's made a really good start. 2 man of the matches, 2 assists, 4 goals, and an average rating of 7.44. We've started, just so you know, if you're downloading the tactic, that it has worked particularly well. We had a bit of a horror start against Manchester City, and the alarm bells came on. Now, we have changed his role. For the first 3 games of the season, it was a roaming playmaker, then a DLP, then a DLP, and then we changed it to Regista just because some of the movements that I was actually seeing. So I'm going to show you some clips now of how he's moved in games, sometimes in possession, sometimes sort of like the team in possession, but just the general movement of where he is. And just trying to imagine what it would look like in real life with Bruno in these certain areas. But apart from the Community Shield shambles, we've done really well. We've beat Man City away in the EFL. They had a strong lineup. We had a strong lineup. Bruno Fernandes goal. So we'll show you that in a bit. And then good performances. Absolutely hammering Newcastle 7-0. We played Joshua Zirkzee as a number 10 as well. As you can see, we've made a really impressive start. Okay, so the first side of that, it's simple. There's nothing here that you're going to be absolutely blown away, but I think it would just help Man United break the lines and play through the thirds a little bit. So him coming into deeper areas, then moving in. Here, as you can see, we started the season with Dalot as an inverted wing-back, and it got a little bit, with Ahmad naturally coming inside on that right-hand side, it made us a little bit too condensed in the middle. But all he does is come into areas and he's supporting kind of behind the ball rather than ahead of it. And then what he does is, because of the vision that he has, he gets to release the wingers a little bit more often. If he's up and alongside the wingers, the passes a lot of the time are going to be sideways, more lateral passes. With him playing as a 6, he's going to get to play more forward, quicker, direct passes more often. So that was him as a roaming playmaker. Right, so this second half, we actually played him as a DLP. But once again, just little things like that where he's able to combine with the striker a little bit more because he's further away. I think sometimes at Manchester United, if we take it back, he's sometimes here where Mount is now as that number 10, and we're not getting the ball to him enough. Sometimes, as you can see, he's surrounded out. Now he has a little bit more freedom alongside Nagati to find better pockets of space in deeper areas. It's not amazing, but what it would do at Manchester United, once again, would try and get more passes into that final third, help us create more opportunities with him playing a little bit deeper. So after the Everton game, we did actually move it to a DLP, from a roaming playmaker first half to a DLP second half. And then this, actually looking at my notes, we changed him to a Regista from this game against Fulham. Okay, so right here, we're going to win back possession. Let's just highlight him. So he's in there. Look, we're not going to get much. He can do it. He's not amazing at it. But here, Agati does what Agati's good at. And then it's a simple pass into Bruno. I always think when you're trying to break, I remember York City, the former York City manager, always saying that when they counter-attacked, rather than rushing it with the first pass, they would try and get at least 2 simple passes in just to steady the play. And obviously, Ugarte is going to be very good at that. And if he's got a Fernandes in and around him in possession, you would hope that Man United can maybe counter-attack a little bit better. And that's what we do here. So Ugarte's gone into Fernandes. And then, look, it's not amazing, but Fernandes is going to be so much better at this, finding these forward passes into a Mount, who then finds a Rashford, and we're off again. Garnacho, wonderful goal. And this one again, we're in build-up. Like, he doesn't get the assist. He doesn't get the assist, but he's involved in keeping possession of the ball. Look, he's in a deeper area. Look at the space that he's got. to find passes. He knows he's going to get a Luke Shaw who's playing that wing-back on support rather than the lot that's been central. We know Marcus Rashford likes to come in on that left-hand side, so we do need that overlapping. Man United have missed that so far, losing Luke Shaw because we know Rashford naturally wants to come in. And then just Bruno having the quality just to keep the play ticking. Working in deeper areas, spraying the ball about like we are. Dalot keeping the width on this side. Just in possession, constantly moving. This is a lovely little pass in, and then we're getting into that final third, and we get a goal. So just him being able to dictate play from deeper. We know he often likes to drop into areas, but him just being there regularly, I think would help us be more controlled in possession. It all depends, obviously, on Ten Hag and what he wants to do, which we know so far has been all about this high energy, out of possession, high line. Not a high line, not a high line, but a high press. So it probably wouldn't work under Ten Hag's current conditions, but it could be something that other managers, or if Ten Hag decides to change during this international break, something that they could potentially consider. Now, this goal, he doesn't actually touch the ball. He's helped him build up a little bit in here, but he doesn't actually touch the ball. But I just want to show you what might happen with Højlund, if I just highlight them, Højlund and Xerxes working together. So De Ligt, we've asked to dribble more. So if we just bring it back a touch, look. He's happy to move forward with it. And then we've got Højlund dropping off. And then we've got then Xerxes attacking the space. And it works tremendously well. It's good football. Whether Højlund has got that quality in real life, probably not. But just an option with Xerxes and Højlund potentially combining together. Really nice goal. We absolutely smashed Newcastle there as well with only 47% of the ball. He then started getting on the score sheet in the last couple of games. Penalty, obviously, in 45+2. And then this ended up being the winning goal. Now, I think with him playing more of a 6 and coming and staying a little bit more central, should we say, he's going to get into more opportunities like this because this is where he'll score a lot of his goals. Edge of the area, touch and hit. We know how good he is at that. And I just feel like at times he's maybe roaming a little bit too much. He's just supporting the player. That's all he's doing. I wonder maybe out of possession playing as sort of like that number 10, he gets kind of away from the middle of the pitch a little bit too often. And we don't get enough of this, where he gets the opportunity to strike a ball from distance. Obviously, when he's playing a little bit deeper, less likely he's going to be marked, and then he can drift into areas late. Where if he's standing up there as a 10, he's generally going to be followed maybe by a number 6. So can we get Bruno into those positions a little bit more? Yes. And it would be easier if he was backing up the player and moving onto the ball rather than having to sort of like drop in from maybe an attacking area. And then he stole the show at the Etihad, 80th minute winner. We did ride our luck a little bit. We've had an XG of 0.13, so it maybe shows you the goal that he scored. Another player of the match. Ran 14.2 kilometres as well. So we're breaking Mason Mount playing as the 10. Look, he's just backing up play, look. And he's now decided, with that little bit of freedom as a Regista, he wants it. And that is Bruno Fernandes. But the best thing is he's coming onto the player. He's never been a player to, like a Kobe Menu, where he can have his back to goal and turn and then run and drive. He likes to back up the play, and I think he may have a little bit of an issue, maybe in tight areas. If we go back to the tactical pad, my only worry would be playing a little bit like this in tight areas. He's probably got a trick to get out, but his close control, like a Kobe Menu, is maybe not as good. But I do think that he's better backing up the play and receiving the ball backwards and then having the time to find those more direct passes. And as I said, he linked really well there with Mason Mount, and then he got it here onto his right foot and then bending shots in, or from this area, supporting Garnacho and then looking for a cross at the back stick, maybe for a Rashford then to move in on. So there's plenty of options. I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm just trying to think of solutions for Manchester United and just not seeing Bruno get involved in games as much. I also think people like Mason Mount would do better from being a little bit higher, help with that high energy up there with those four. People like James Maddison as well, watched him for the last couple of weeks against Brighton and Man United. Absolutely everywhere, getting the ball in deeper areas and making the play tick. And Manchester United aren't doing that at the moment. Could Bruno be the answer? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Smash a like on today's video. There'll be a few more videos. We've got a Nottingham Forest video coming up very, very soon to show how they beat Liverpool, only team to beat Liverpool this season, and also they had a really good point yesterday at Stamford bridge. Check out the Patreon as well. Muchly appreciated if you want the tactic. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. See you later.